This episode starts off with probably my favorite scene in the entire series so far. But otherwise, from that, the whole episode just falls apart for me. No surprise, it's a Rings of Power episode. But season 2, episode 3 had a great beginning to it. And that was we find Isildur inside a cave of spiders. Now, he's not necessarily got into this exact moment, but it's a creepy, dark area with orcs and spiders going all around. And then he has this encounter with Shelob that just freaks me out. Now, Shelob, it's only about this size, so she's much smaller now, but still, the whole scenario just freaked me out because I am not a fan of spiders bigger than my face, and I've never been one since I saw the Return of the King when I was 10 years old. I absolutely was petrified of that scene. Me and giant spiders don't mix. Small spiders, sure, fine, whatever. But giant ones like that, no, thank you. So, but that scene, I gotta give them 10 out of 10. It freaked me out. I didn't really love the spiders all that much. I thought they did a great job of that scene. And, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. The only thing I wish for that scene is that we would got a shot of Ungoliant in the back, who is the mother of Shelob and all the spiders. So I wish we would got a scene like that, just showing us that she's still there. But otherwise, I thought it was a pretty good scene, except for Ungoliant not being there. Otherwise, the whole rest of the episode just kind of falls apart for me. We fall through Isildur's journey as he travels through the land of Mordor now, trying to find his way out back to the city, to where he can meet up with the rest of the Númenóreans. And upon that journey, he runs into a girl on the side of the road who stabs him and tries to steal food from him or accuses him of something. It's weird enough. Apparently, she is betrothed to somebody else, but starts having feelings for Isildur. So great, we're now breaking up another family here, I guess is what this course is going down. It also turns out that she is also someone who's sworn fealty to Adder for Mordor, but she has burned away her mark we see in this episode, so I don't know, does that mean that she's removing her loyalty to him? Is she a spy who's covering her tracks now? I'm not quite sure what's going on with her, but I'm sure that they're going to turn this into some massive drama where they fall in love with each other, but then she has to reveal her true allegiance to Adar and betrays and stabs in the back and helps Adar win a mighty victory because of her betrayal and Isildur loving someone that he shouldn't. So I'm willing to bet that's the course we take. We then get to meet up with the dark-skinned elf, Don Lemon, in Lord of the Rings, pretty much is what I'm calling him. I don't remember his name. And he's mourning the passing of his human girlfriend. He tries to be a bit of a mentor figure to her son, who just flat out rejects him. Like, I understand from where the son's coming from. Like, you're not my dad. I don't really like you. The only connection that we had was my mom, and with her gone, there's no connection between us. So I completely get that aspect. But at the same time, he's the only one that's trying to help you through your grieving process. He's the only one that's trying to watch out for you. Because at this time, the Southlands, Mordor is gone. Alright, that's all the control of the orcs. No one else is going to really care all that much about you. You're now on your own. So having someone watching out for you isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but I also do understand for someone that young of age who didn't like you to begin with, just doesn't want to have anything to do with you, completely understandable there. Now, from here, we get to go over to Numenor and see how this whole thing is blowing up at Numenor. Over at Numenor, things are not going great for the queen. She's having a mourning ceremony for the soldiers that were lost and for the passing of her father. She gets slapped by one of the women who lost a son from the catastrophe, from the explosion of Mount Doom, which I understand her pain and agony, but at the same time, it was a freak of nature that killed your son. I don't really know you can necessarily put all the blame on her. Now, maybe you could, because no one really wanted to support and help Galadriel the elf out, and with this catastrophe happening with their expedition, I guess that just would compound to everyone thinking like, oh, no, condemn the elves, condemn this expedition, this is an evil expedition, curse everyone that had anything to do with it. So I guess, that would put some sense together why you would not want to have support for that anymore. But still, like, where are your bodyguards? Why aren't they stopping anybody from coming near to you and hurting you? Like, that personally didn't make any sense to me, how that was even able to happen. But you know what? They were just being cheap bodyguards paid by the hour. They weren't really all that interested in protecting their queen from getting slapped. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking a little bit. Probably I am, but still, you should have your guards right next to you and prevent that from happening. Also, the fact that they didn't immediately run her through is kind of unrealistic. I mean, I know she did tell people to wait to stop, but still, like, I would have my spear almost at that lady's throat at that point, just about to run her through. So the fact that no one really had that at that point, I don't know. I really question the validity of these soldiers that she has around her. Also, the whole thing that we have built up in this episode, the big turning point, is the betrayal of Eliana to her father, Ilidor, who was shown the Palantir by the old king, who then took the Palantir and is now revealing it to the entire assembly at the Queen Regent Maria's coronation, that she was using an elf stone to see the future, and that is why she left. Except for, here's the thing, it's not an elf stone, it's a Palantir, okay? It is literally of Numenorian heritage. You guys made the Palantirs, you developed the Palantirs, you designed them, and they're your looking glasses to see far out. Like, this is Numenorian magic, Numenorian creation. This is probably a crowning achievement of your crafts. And the showrunners just shat all over it, just like, nope, this is an elf stone. Like, God, like, come on, people. At least do a little bit of research. Like, at least they know that the Palantirs came from Numenorians, but like a Google search would tell you that. So they, once again, don't really care much for the Numenorians. Now, maybe she would say, like, this Palantir showed the destruction of our island, and I guess maybe the queen was trying to prevent that somehow by joining the elves, but now apparently she's could doom our island if she was something like that. Okay, sure, maybe. But still, like, the fact that we didn't get any of that, and that it's just that this is an elf stone, it's evil, it's dark, it's something that's forbidden. Like, no. You showrunners made that into be what the Palantirs are, but that's not what a Palantir is. But once again, they don't actually care for what items are actually supposed to be in Middle Earth. So that turns into a whole massive fiasco. And then all of a sudden, a giant eagle comes out into the landing by where they're having the ceremony done. And Altharissa, who is the queen's Regent's cousin, just so happens to be staying close by to that landing, who did have desires for the crown. All of a sudden, his supporters start cheering his name, because apparently in Numenor, it's custom that if an eagle lands next to you during your coronation, you are then the king, I guess. But here's the thing, this isn't a dumb bird. The way that they portray this in the scene is that the giant eagles are dumb. No, the giant eagles are extremely intelligent creatures. Think like the Ents, okay? That's what those creatures are, but they don't treat the giant eagles like that. For they just have the bird just cooing and flapping his wings as a moron. Like, just let the eagle land and walk over to the Queen Regent and touch her on the head with his wing, beak, or something like that. I know, according to some YouTubers I've been watching and from what I've listened on the lore, is that the eagles can speak. I know I remember Gandalf saying that when he escaped from the Tower of Orthanc from Saruman, that the King of the Eagles came and saved him, and he talked with him then and there. So, but maybe that's just a wizard trick that was able to do that. So I'm willing to, just maybe say that that's not something that any normal person can do, just to give the showrunners just a little bit benefit of the doubt. But at the very least, these are intelligent creatures, and yet you're treating them as the most unintelligent things in the world. Thanks, guys. I wish I could say that's where the episode ended, but it's not quite over yet. For, if you remember, we were talking about at the end of the last episode, Doran and his wife are invited to Celebrimbor City, and they want to discuss more about the rings. And there, Celebrimbor and Avatar, Sauron, are trying to convince Doran and his wife that, hey, you guys should really think about convincing your father to give us some mithril, and we'll create rings of power for you that you can then use to heal your mountain. And for some reason, Doran just starts airing his dirty laundry with his father. He starts just confessing to Celebrimbor the secrets of what's going on inside Dwarven society, how him and his father aren't speaking, so good luck with that. Like, the dwarves are very reserved creatures. Like, they don't really reveal their secrets all that willingly. Like, even in Tolkien's lore, as far as I know, from what I've read, from what I've listened to, we don't know a ton of Dwarven lore, about a ton of Dwarven practices and histories and things, because they keep things hidden within their society. I mean, yes, we still know a good deal about them, but compared to the elves, the men, and the hobbits, the dwarves are a little more secluded. They're a little more reserved, but he's just revealing all this to just an elf he doesn't know, being that he doesn't know it as an avatar. When he asks Avatar who he is, he just gets evasion after evasion, and Doran is rightly able to sniff out that Avatar is not all that he seems, which is kind of damning for Celebrimbor for not being able to sniff it out, because Doran's able to immediately pick up, like, yeah, this guy is not good, because Elrond complimented me in the most glowing of terms to Avatar, and Avatar was using the reflect back on me, because Elrond would not say anything like that, like a true bro would. Like, when you are really deep friends and have a real great connection with somebody, like, you won't speak ill of them, but I mean, you'll mess around, you'll badmouth each other every now and then, but you still have each other's back. But the way that Avatar spoke to Doran of how Elrond talked to him about it, it just set Doran off, and yeah, I agree with that. But his wife Diza is just like, push posh, right now we need to think about restoring the power to the mountain. Like, okay, like, think about the greater picture here, but she doesn't seem like she's able to do that. But instead, they just go back to Mount Doom in that very same episode, have a meeting with the king where we learn that Khazad-dûm only has 3 months left of food rations. I really wish they had something else to trade with, like maybe gems, gold, silver, iron, something that could get them resources from the surrounding area that could supplement their food. But, I guess dwarves, they just can't do anything without their sunlight shafts bringing in the light so they can continue their harvesting. Yeah, okay, sure. But he brings this information to Doran, and King Doran, he accepts his son back, accepts his apology, they have a conversation about it, and Doran tells him about these magical rings. But Doran also tells him that he does not trust these rings, that he tells his father, like, I wonder about what you told me before about tempting fate with the elves. Maybe this is the consequence of, not me listening to you, and thus letting those rings be forged. Now, this was going to happen regardless of those rings being forged, because Mount Doom was going to explode. But, it's fair enough to ask and question what's going on here. And Doran, King Doran, for his part, he seems to contemplate what his son has said, and I guess they end up going back to Celebrimbor City and brings some mithril and giving it to Celebrimbor, who then hands that directly to Sauron, who personally puts it into their smelting pots to start melting the rings for the dwarves. So that's pretty much is where we're wrapping up with that episode. The wisdom of the dwarves is gone. All it took was just for the son to go to the king, give him a report on some magical rings that could save their kingdom, but not really save it, that they don't really need, but they're going to do it anyways. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, the teleportation in this episode is insane. Like, I cannot stress how bad it is, just from like the standpoint of a viewer. Like, you have Doran, who just arrived in Celebrimbor City, then leaving back to Khazad-dûm, to then leave Khazad-dûm with his father to come back into Celebrimbor City, all within the same episode. Like, at least put us like some like few months time frame so we know how much time has passed, because in the last episode both Elrond, Galadriel, and a couple other elves have already left and are making their way to Celebrimbor City. Like, what the heck is going on here? Why aren't they already there when Doran and his family arrives back for the final time. Like, these showrunners are absolutely horrendous at pacing, timing, making sure you know what's going on, because I'm just completely lost at this point. So, as I said, I like the very beginning of this episode. I absolutely despise how the rest of this episode is gone. But as we say, this is just a typical Rings of Power episode. But you guys let me know, what do you think? Did you enjoy this episode? Did you think that I'm just over exaggerating a little bit? Maybe I am. And what did you think of the Shelob aspect of this episode? I personally like the fight, but maybe some people have some criticism for that. I look forward to hear what you guys got to say in the comment section below. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.